Today is October the 15th, 16th. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. This is my submission for Martin Luther King's job. This is part of my resume, all right? Because I learned from these individuals. These gave me that's where I cut my teeth at, all right? We're talking about civil rights. We're talking about Atlanta, Georgia. We're talking about the cradle of our fight. Like I say, this ain't my fight, this our struggle. And my struggle come from a lineage of Davises. You feel me? My family taught me how to be like this. My daddy taught me how to be like that. That's my father, Joe Davis. You feel me? That's my mama. That's my grandmama. You feel me? This is my family. You feel me? That's me with my granddaughter. That's my grandmother. That's my son. And that's Philip. On February the 2nd, 2011, my mother died from cancer. You feel me? And my mother was the patriarch of my family. So on February the 2nd, 2011, I turned y'all in. I turned y'all in because I was tired of the life that I was living. I turned y'all in because I'm shorty. Nobody can hold me to my past. It's making a movie and a documentary about the corruption and the racism in your courts behind the war on drugs. If Martin was here, he wouldn't accept it. If Malcolm was here, he wouldn't accept it. And that's who I learned from. And I learned from Thurgood Marshall. You feel me? This is my family. Welcome to my friends. All right? I'm the ninth of 10 kids. My grandmama taught me about racism in America. You feel me? Got a long history about racism in your Navy, in your service. You feel me? It's my grandfather and my grandmother, my grandparents. Very photogenic. You feel me? And this is what you stole me from, because my family, I had all these pictures I had. Y'all erased my existence. You tried to erase me from this world. But my grandfather and my grandmother taught me how to be a strong black man. You feel me? And my great-grandmama was born in the 1900s, late 1800s. So if we want to talk about race and racism, we can get it straight from the bottom of the barrel. You feel me? February the 2nd, I applied for Martin Luther King's job. I applied for Martin Luther King's job. You feel me? I applied for his job. Because his kids ain't doing what their daddy taught them how to do. You feel me? Conservative supporter for Donald Trump. Man, you got issues. That's sending a missed message here, because your father died for our rights. He died for our freedom. He died for equality. And I had to come down here to kind of let you know how I feel. Y'all charged me with terrorism. Y'all locked me up. Just like you locked your daddy up. Just like you locked your father up. Charged me with terrorism because I was talking about the war on drugs. I put the cart in front of the horse because Gayle King got all this. In the event of my death, like y'all killed Martin, like you killed Malcolm, we're going to make sure that my story is told. I'm leaving a blueprint, not a footprint. I'm leaving you a blueprint. You feel me? So we're talking about racism in your courts and your judicial system. We're talking about the murder and the death of our kids. Because I don't hear you screaming and hollering about the police brutality. I don't hear you screaming and hollering about them killing them people in their houses. Your father wouldn't accept this, but you is. Something wrong with this picture. You feel me? I was accepted here because I'm from here. Well, I'm not from here. I'm not from Baltimore. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from a place called Zion, Illinois. And that's Scott Schellenberger. And we talking about opioid abuses, marijuana. We talking about the war on drugs, the illegal war on drugs, the war on the black community. You want to make our community safe? In the war on drugs. You want to make our community safe? Send Scott Schellenberger to jail. Scott Schellenberger ain't no different than Boss Hogg. He ain't no different than George Wallace. Scott Schellenberger is just as racist as racism can get. He's just a blue version of Donald Trump. I'm down in Atlanta. I'm giving up my homeless program. I'm going to give it to Tyler Perry. I'm also applying for jobs. You feel me? I'm applying for jobs. But this is my homeless program. That's Dutch Rufus Burger. Never bite the hand that feeds you. And I done fed all of Baltimore, and everybody in Baltimore know me. It's the who's who in Baltimore. I'm a member of Out for Justice, an ex-felon program for ex-felons, by ex-felons. I'm a shorty, and I got something to show you. This is Baltimore City, because like I said, I came down to Atlanta also to push my movie, Baltimore Rewired. And that's the city of Baltimore. And that's Bob Cocky. And that's the Baltimore Major, Richard Gibson. And that's Shorty's, that's my whistleblower's application. Mayor Pugh got it. Governor Hogan got it. And when I get back into town, I'm getting ready to do a transcript. I'm going to transcribe everything that I'm talking about. I'm going to do this legally. Because like I said, we're getting ready to file a writ of certiorari to go to the court about your war on drugs and the contents of this envelope. I was kidnapped by the state. I was kidnapped by Scott Schellenberger. I was kidnapped by Chief Johnson because I applied for Martin's job. I don't know when you've been to jail, and I don't know what you've been to jail for, but if you supporting Trump and you supporting racism, man, you need to take a look in the mirror. I say it to your face. This job been vacant for like 50 years and ain't nobody picked up the baton. Even his own family is like capitalizing off of him. He didn't do what he did for money. He did it because he needed change. Not change in your pocket, but change in the books. He worked with Thurgood Marshall. He worked with the NAACP. But you don't see the courts. You don't see the NAACP. You don't see nothing that he was doing then now. And we got the same ills: housing, education, incarceration, police brutality. And we don't hear none of this coming out your mouth. If you don't want his job, you don't want to keep his legacy alive, then you need to change your name. I want the job. I'm built for this.